welcome to another episode of Keeping Up the Conversation. I am your host, Miss Tori. And I got to point to the guy on the other side of the screen, my super duper co host, Big Ken. Yeah, you. What's going on, Big
Oh,
Ken?
hey, how you doing?
Hey. I always like, I can't say I like the show format today, but I always like these show formats because it
Mhm.
gives, like our viewers a chance to just uh, just interact with us and talk to us. A lot of times we have guests on the show and we're kind of moving and we don't always have time to get those questions in or those questions from our viewers in. But today is one of those days where we do get to do that because we don't have a guest today. We are it.
It's just us, y'all. It is
it's just
just us.
it's just
So stick
us.
around, stick around. We
Yes,
got
we
some
have a
good
great
stuff
show.
coming for
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah, yeah. So as always, we start the top of the hour with our hot topics. And Paul
Mm.
Gladley, better known by the stage name Paul Mooney, a longtime comedian, writer, and actor. Best known for his work with Richard Pryor, died from a heart attack today. Paul, who's been out on the public eye for a few years, had also been reportedly suffering from dementia for some time and was staying with a family member. Mooney was 79.
Oh,
Did you ever
wow.
watch his comedy?
Well, glad you asked that
Yeah.
question. I am a student of comedy, so I've been very familiar with Mr. Mooney and his work. Huge Richard Pryor fan growing up, which I probably shouldn't have been because
Oh
I
yeah.
probably shouldn't have been listening to that material when I was that young. But I always was a Richard Pryor fan, and as I got older and got more knowledge on comedy as a whole, I found out that Paul Mooney wrote for Mr. Pryor.
Right. Yeah,
He, he
that was his big thing. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, when I found out that information, that made me an even bigger Paul Mooney fan, and I was also a fan of his because he was on another one of my favorite shows, The Chappelle Show. So
Yeah,
he was a
yeah.
big part of that. So for me, getting familiar with him in those two arenas just made me an even bigger fan, and I was also a fan of his truth and
Oh
his
yeah.
art because
I was gonna
yeah,
speak
he
about that.
said a lot of things that I know a lot of other comedians and people would dare say,
Oh
especially
yeah.
on that type of stage where he's, that famous of a person to be saying that type of stuff.
Yeah, he was definitely straightforward, open, honest, and almost transparent with his audience, and he dared anybody to, um, you know, buck him because he believed what he believed in, and he expressed that through the everyday life that he lived and also through his comedy. And it's funny because just like you, I watched Richard Pryor, when I was younger, when I probably wasn't supposed to, but I think that my I had the type of parents that didn't want to hide anything or didn't, they wanted us to just, they were sort of footloose and fancy free. And so it was like, learn from us so you don't go out there in the streets and do it and then we're surprised about it. And so Richard Pryor, he was in our house. He was everywhere. And I remember hearing that Paul Mooney had wrote for Richard Pryor years and years and years ago. And for a little while it took a while for me to kind of grasp his type of comedy. But once I did and I sort of understood it, I realized that this guy is speaking his truth, like it or not. It's going to come out in his comedy. It's going to come out in everyday conversations. It was part of his life. So to hear about his passing was, I'm sure it was really, really sad, and not only in Hollywood, but in the comedy world.
Yeah, and the great thing
Yeah.
about being an artist of that stature and having so much material out there is they live on forever through those medias, through those, through his jokes, through his entertainment, everything that he had going on. He'll live on forever.
Yeah, that's right. So much love to the Mooney family. So, I've never worked at a restaurant. I just never we select if we can where we want to work. But so, I'm just saying it's like, okay, I never want to work at a restaurant. I never
I
want to
worked at
be
a restaurant when I was
I did
16.
I see I did because I when I would go into like when younger when I would go to places like McDonald's, it was like the hamburger smell was so strong, and I'm like, if I
Bougie,
work there, no, and I'm like, if I work there,
bougie.
that's how I'm gonna
Well,
smell.
that's what I did, y'all. I worked at a place called Brahms, and I was the
I
guy
remember
back
that.
there
Is that the
flipping
ice
the
cream
burgers.
place? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was the ice cream. Okay, so
Yeah, they sell ice cream, but they sell burgers and fries. People who
okay.
know, they know. So yeah,
Okay.
I was the burger guy.
Well, I say that to say because U.S. restaurants and stores, they're rapidly raising their pay because of it's so hard for them to get workers, and so McDonald's, Sheetz, and Chipotle are just one of the latest companies to follow Amazon, Walmart, and Costco in boosting wages in some cases to 15 an hour or higher. Restaurants, bars, hotels, and stores remain the lowest paying industries, and many of their workers ran risk of contracting COVID-19 on the job over the past year, while white collar employees were able to work from home. So that's why I was talking about, not being. I've never worked in a restaurant. Now I did work in retail for a little while, and at that time I was in college, so I didn't care about the pay. But when you look at the pay now, a lot of people have families. A lot of things that happened in society in our in our country has forced some people to start working in jobs that they don't like, and restaurants and retail is one of them. Many companies, the reason for this story is because many companies say that they're struggling to find workers, and
Bet they
customers are
are.
coming. Huh?
So I bet they are.
And it's like, because customers they're coming back faster than restaurants can staff up. So by raising the pay, they're able to get more workers in the door. But it's taking a while. And McDonald's said it's going to raise, the pay for workers in its 650 company-wide stores, an average of $15 an hour by 2024. 2024 to me, that seems like a long way off. We got
Well,
problems now.
they got a lot of stores to attack, but when you started talking about this story, the first thing that came to mind was with me working at a fast food place or Brahms, not can really consider fast food, but a fast food type place or restaurant, and
Mhm.
then me working at Sears in high school as well. I got a chance to, see what both are, and I did get paid more to work at Sears than I did at Brahms. And for me, now that I look back at it in retrospect, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to pay people more to fold my shirt than it is to prepare my food.
I
Like,
mean,
I would
you would
rather you pay
yeah,
these people
people
more that are
more
preparing my food than
just
the
in
people
case
that are
yeah,
folding my shirt. So,
just in case somebody gets angry, it's like,
y-
uh,
yeah, because I don't need you playing with my food at all. So, no
yeah.
knock to all teenagers that work at these
Yeah.
restaurants, but then again, too, a lot of times you have a lot of teenagers that work at these fast food places because that's the only people that want to take that wage.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
Like,
yeah,
older
exactly. That's
people who
true.
have worked,
Mm-mm.
like they have a work history, they would rather take unemployment than work at a place like that and take that low of a
Exactly,
pay.
yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, sometimes I know people have to do what they hate to do. I think one of the things that it bothers me to see is like older people working in fast food restaurants, because not because they're older, but because I know the younger generation sometimes can be extremely rude and and disrespectful. And so it's like, man, I don't know how this person's day is going, but hopefully they don't come across a rude little millennial
yeah,
person.
but some of those older people that work at the restaurants are wild too. I'm telling
They
you.
kind of feisty, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because when I worked at Brahms, there was a couple older people that worked there that were kind of wild. So yeah.
Well, Amazon said that it'll pay its new hire $17 an hour as it seeks to add 75,000 new workers. The online giant said it's offering $100 bonus for new hires who have been vaccinated.
Well, they should be paying more because all the packages we get around here, Amazon is making money, Jack. So pay the people so I can get my packages, man.
Well, it's another old day And another close call for Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina scented candle.
Whoa.
Texas resident Kobe Watson is seeking a jury trial and damages of $5 million after an incident in which he claims one of Goop's "This Smells Like My Vagina" candles exploded on his bedside table. Now Watson alleges that he alleges that he burned it for around 3 hours before the candle exploded and became engulfed in high flames. According to court documents, the table was left with a black burn ring and the table jar was charred. And the candle jar was charred and black. Now, no injuries were reported, but representatives from Watson's are seeking compensation for their client and others who through no fault of their own, bought defective and dangerous vagina scented candles.
Okay, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Okay.
Okay, you have the floor.
You have a vagina scented candle. First of all, I'm interested. What does this actually smell like? Because if it smells like flowers and all that stuff, then it don't smell authentic, as we would say.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
number one. Number two, why are you burning a candle that smells like vagina for 3 hours? Right?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they burned it too long. The actual, you know what I'm saying, act that involves the vagina usually only lasts maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops. Burn the candle for a little while.
Whose vagina does it smell like? You know what I'm saying? Whose? Someone that just came from the gym, someone that just had intercourse. Who or what does this candle smell like? It's like I can see it right now. So many comedians making jokes about this, like, that candle was flaming, or it was. I don't know, Big Ken.
There's a ton of jokes in this story, ton of them.
I tell you what we should do. We get stuff from a lot of our guests, and sometimes we buy a lot of stuff. If this candle is still out there when this show ends tonight, I'm gonna buy it.
Hold on.
If the candle is still on the market.
Just say, when you buy that, you already know it's going to explode. So heed Big Ken's word and do not burn it any more than about 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna sniff it, but I don't know. I just want to. I want to see what it smells like, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna compare it to my own.
You should let a male, an adult male that you're around, smell that candle, because he's the expert, not you.
Okay, why don't you go buy the candle? And let me know what it smells like. Okay?
I will. Okay. How about that?
All right. Okay, thank you. So now you know what time it is. After our hot topic, we get right on into Big Ken's fun facts with Big Ken.
Yeah, Big Ken's fun facts. Here we go.
Yes, yeah, there we go.
As you know, each week I scour the internet trying to find something interesting that you may not know. This week, another interesting topic. Question. We just got through talking about Amazon. I get a lot of packages. You get a lot of packages, I'm sure, especially during the pandemic, because everybody was ordering everything, right?
Right.
So what's the main thing that comes in any package that you generally would get, or something that, that's not the actual item? What is it wrapped in? It's wrapped in bubble wrap, right?
Bubble wrap.
It's wrapped in bubble wrap, some type of cushioning. And we have bubble wrap everywhere, right? You know what I'm saying? You can buy bubble wrap in a roll. We play with bubble wrap.
Yes, I like to play and step on it and pop it and twist it.
And for most people, it might be kind of therapeutic. But did you know that bubble wrap was actually wallpaper?
What?
Bubble wrap is actually wallpaper.
Wait. Did it start as wallpaper, or it is wallpaper?
Bubble wrap started as wallpaper.
Who the heck? Okay, come on.
In 1957, you had two guys, Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavanas, were attempting to create a three-dimensional plastic wallpaper for, padded areas, things of that nature. They didn't go into detail with the stories. They just said they were.
You know what? They did that for drunk people who were falling to the wall.
Maybe. Okay. Or I'm saying the childproof a room, or it could be for a number of reasons. They tried to create this and it failed. it failed miserably as wallpaper, right? But later on, Mr. Fielding co-founded a company called Sealed Air, and they came up with an idea to put this, this wallpaper in packaging to secure things when they sent out, things that made of glass, things that
So
are fragile.
these same guys that started the wallpaper, they
Yes.
also okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So let that be a lesson to you all. Every failed experiment, every failed idea is not the end. You could come up with another way to use certain things.
Gotta
And this was the
pivot.
perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? Something that didn't work out one way, but it definitely worked out a whole nother way. And those people, that invented it, the people that own the company now, yeah, bubble wrap is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And note, the packaging that you see, the big bubbles, the larger bubble
Yeah,
wrap
the
and stuff like
small
that,
one.
that's not bubble wrap, right? So
What is it?
don't. So it's packaging. It's fluff air. It go by different names. Bubble wrap is an actual trademark name for that company. So it's kind of like, when you have a Miracle Whip and people call
Mhm.
Miracle Whip, even if it's great value,
Cool
it's
Whip.
not Miracle Whip. You know what I'm saying? So it's mayonnaise, but what it's a brand name item. So when we call it bubble wrap, it's actually not bubble wrap. I just wanted to add that in there because we've been calling it bubble wrap forever. And
Yeah, that's
anytime we
not
get
gonna change.
anything in any packaging, we call it bubble wrap. So I just want to let y'all know it's not really bubble wrap if it's not the real bubble wrap. Y'all got that bootleg bubble wrap.
Okay, wait, so all right, so my best friend is moving.
Hmm.
And we need to get some stuff to wrap her glass in. What is it?
Hmm.
I don't want to. Okay, I want to say the right thing. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get you some.
I mean, bubble wrap is the proven thing to get. Like when you go in the
That's like
store,
across the board.
I give you a perfect example. We were talking about this the other day. Foil. When you go in the store and you buy foil and you don't get Reynolds wrap, and you get home and you got that bootleg foil, and I don't know how many of you are out there ever experienced this. Like you may be barbecuing or grilling, and you like to use some good foil, and you get that cheap foil, and it doesn't do the job that you got it to do. Well, that's what this bootleg bubble wrap will do for you. So make sure you get the real bubble wrap because
You
your
know,
stuff will be all messed up.
when you said foil, I thought about this guy that I used to work for, and he was a vice president of a big company, and he very educated. However, he was from New Orleans, and they have that. What is that? There are certain things that they say, and you're like, oh, they must be from New Orleans. And when you said foil, so I worked for this guy, and we had a luncheon, and he asked me, he said, Tori, when you go down and get your food for the luncheon, will you get mine and wrap it up in furl?
Yeah,
Like,
earn
what? And he would
the
say
earn.
Earl
Yeah,
like oil.
yeah. The orange.
I know. I'm always jumping on top of your fun facts because your fun facts they bring out stuff that from my past. So you talk about stuff from a long time ago, and so it's gonna
No,
take me back.
that's a legit thing though. I mean, we could talk about that for a minute because it's our show today. We don't have a guest. We could talk about whatever we want. So the people
I
from New
know we
Orleans
can.
don't feel away because guess what? Tori does this to everybody. She talks about everybody's accent.
But I don't mean anything by it. I don't. And yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I mean, hey, I have a little accent of my own. I can talk, like this the whole show, or I could talk like I'm from Oak Cliff over there.
No, we don't
That's
want that.
just
We don't want
you know,
that. That's not
yeah.
what this
See,
show is
Tori
about.
doesn't know, but let's keep it going. My people from
Okay,
Dallas,
so
y'all understand.
okay, so I'm excited about our topics today. I
Mhm.
really am because sometimes they can be a little bit controversial, But okay, so all right, prenuptial agreements. Before I even get into prenuptial agreements, and do they change your relationship? I gotta let you know, or I gotta tell you what prenuptial agreements are. So prenuptial agreement is or some people call it prenuptial, some people call it prenup, but it's a written contract entered entered into by a couple prior to marriage or civil union that enables them to select and control many of the legal rights they acquire upon marrying and what happens when their marriage ends. Now, would you sign a prenuptial agreement? Big
Um,
kid.
to me, it would depend. Like I've had this conversation a lot, right? Okay, so let me break this down.
Oh, here we go.
If I get married and I have absolutely nothing, right? Get married, in my early 20s, like I haven't started working or anything like that. I don't have any assets per
Mm-hmm.
se. Then, a prenuptial agreement is not a big deal to me, right?
Okay,
But
go ahead. I'm
if
sorry.
I'm established and I've been working, I have money, like I have assets, then yes, I would definitely consider a prenuptial agreement.
So, okay, wait. Hold on, wait a minute. So, are you saying that two broke people cannot sign or shouldn't do a prenuptial agreement because it's a waste? What about their future? Like, what if we go into this marriage? I mean, I know we can't because we family, but I'm just saying, what if we go into this marriage? I'm like, I want a prenuptial agreement, and the guy's like, why? You don't have no money, you broke, but that's okay. I got visions. Okay,
Mhm,
so then. As we go along, I'm like, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna sign this so crazy prenuptial agreement because you broke, and he's not even looking at my future. So when we get married, sign a prenup, and 10 years later, I'm a millionaire. And I'm a
mhm.
millionaire, and we divorce. And
But
he's
you're
like,
not a
oh,
millionaire. You're not a millionaire. Y'all are millionaires. But go ahead.
I signed a prenup. Well, I signed a broke girl's prenup.
Okay,
And,
well, yeah, if you sign a prenup, yeah. But how many
I-
people are actually gonna do that?
there's some people that there are some people that just might do that. Now, okay, so let me ask you this. Now, so say your girl, she has money and you don't.
Mhm.
And she says, "Ken, we need to sign a prenup." Would that offend you?
No, no. I tell people all the time too
Not
that
at all.
marriage is a contractual agreement. When you get married, they make you sign a
Mhm.
paper, so it's a contract, right?
Right?
And anytime you sign a contract, there are going to be things that are entailed in that contract. So if you have assets, again, even if it's only one person that has assets, I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly
Mhm.
fine with signing a prenup, and I understand her trying to protect her assets. Now, other people will look at that and say, well, you're doomed from the beginning because you have no trust. And I don't think it's a trust issue. I think it's just, it is what it is. You're signing a contract to be with somebody for the rest of your life, hopefully. So, if that's the case and you trust them and they trust you, I mean, go ahead and sign the paperwork.
But why do people get so offended when you mention prenups? Like what there I mean, like if you take I can't remember her husband's name, but if you look at Candy from Escape, it
Mhm.
was a big deal about signing a prenup. Same thing with Ray J. So when you look at a lot of these, not even celebrities, but just your everyday Joe Blow. Why do people get so offended when you ask them to sign a prenup as if when they automatically think, oh, you don't trust me. And to me,
Yeah,
that's not even it. But why do you think that people get so upset about that?
I think that's it. The fact that they think that the other person doesn't trust them, but in like the case like Candy, she already had money. She's had
Right.
money for a long time before she even met him. So, like I said again, if you come into the situation and you already have any type of assets, you should sign a prenup because at the end of the day, if that thing grows or that thing prospers or whatever the case may be, whatever you had from the beginning should, remain with you. Now, the caveat to that is if you sign a prenup and, this person helps you build this business, I think it's only right that, that they get a portion of the earnings or the money when you all separate. So I think that's what's got to be worked out because to get a monthly payment, I don't think that's the case. I think whenever you all part, if you have a lump sum of money or whatever the case may be, split it at that time. whatever way the judge said split it, you go your way, I go my way.
That what's crazy is that if you look at someone that signs a prenup, so a lot of guys, I'm not picking on guys, but sometimes guys marry the older guys marry these younger women, and the younger woman signs a prenup because this guy, he has money and she feels like he's going to take care of her. But my thing is that when an older guy, and maybe this doesn't have anything to do with age, when an older guy marries a younger girl and they sign a prenup, then they get a divorce. And so she walks away with nothing, and he still goes on and he lives his rich life. Is
Mhm.
is that classless? Is that classless when a guy does that? I'm not
I
saying
don't.
that a woman can't do it for the sake of the conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's classless. Like I said, for me, I think, just depending on how long they've been together, she deserves something. But if you sign a prenup, number one, you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into. Number
Mhm.
one. Number two, it's kind of like that rap line said, "You wasn't with me shooting in the gym." So, if we don't have any kids together, we just, we've been married, we've been, together. Like, I should give you something, what I'm saying? Some type of parting, what I'm saying, money, but I shouldn't be, on the hook to provide for you the rest
Obligated.
of your life, what I'm saying, type of thing. And that's why I said, in my estimation, you should give them, a certain portion of whatever you're earning at that point, and then you should go your separate ways.
Now, let me tell you this. I don't know. I don't know if we have any comments yet, but
Yeah, we
oh,
sure do. And I
but
and I agree. She should. I was just thinking the same thing. If she's smart, while she's with this guy, she shouldn't be at home sitting looking pretty, doing absolutely nothing. She should be taking time to build her own brand, like
right,
a lot of the ladies that are on Basketball Wives and things of that
yeah,
nature. Like, they were just regular young ladies or regular
right.
people. They got with these basketball players. Now they're on shows and their own, they're doing their own stuff, and they're not with these guys anymore because they were
Right.
smart and were able to branch off from that.
Now, so now what do you think? What do you think? And you two, to our viewers, what do you think is the biggest clause that almost everyone, but more Hollywood people put in their prenup? What is it? What are the number one things? One thing that's in almost every clause in every prenup.
Oh, infidelity.
That's right. Cheating. There is a cheating clause,
Yeah.
and this clause awards one spouse money if their divorce or separation was because of cheating. So with that said, I wanted to tell you just real quick some of the clauses that some of the Hollywood celebrities put in there. Like, for example, Tiger Woods, when he was married to Ellen, when Woods was caught in a massive cheating scandal, it increased the amount of Ellen's um, money from the divorce from 20 million to 100 million because they had a cheating clause uh, in there. Now it's now Beyonce and Jay-Z,
Hold
of
on. I
course.
think this could be tricky though. Hold on. This could be tricky because, see, this works two ways. See, you have that clause in there, and if that lady knows you have that clause in there, and she knows what type of dude Tiger Woods was, because he was out there getting it.
That doesn't mean he was a cheat. You can't
No,
say every
no, no,
Hollywood
no,
person
no.
is a
I'm just
cheater.
saying. I'm not saying. I mean, Tiger Woods, yeah, he was cheating. I mean, it was too much evidence. It was too much evidence. But how do we know that somebody won't sign something like that and let it stew over the years and know what type of individual this person is and set them up to get the money?
I know, but you're right. But also, what if his wife cheated? She came in as a nanny. What is she gonna give him $3? You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
It's like,
if she cheated, what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, unless it was something high profile, Tiger Woods ain't worried about that.
Okay, well,
I don't see Tiger Woods worrying about that.
but
You
but
know what
but
I'm
you
saying?
do you have a valid point because you could set someone up, but you better hope that that person doesn't get mad and come back and say, you know what, Tiger, I had to set you up, and she made me mad, so you you need to go to court and get your money back. You know what I mean? So it's like it can work both ways. Somebody gets mad, somebody sets somebody up at some point the lie that's well, you know what they say, what's in the dark soon comes to light. So yeah. Okay, so Beyonce and Jay-Z, they may be music royalty, but this power couple also uh are both sharp business owner, and they're really keen on protecting their asset. Now, in their prenup, Beyonce gets $1 million for each year they are married, and she also gets 5 million for each child she gives birth to. How about that? I'm about to
Oh,
have 8 kids. She got
oh,
twins,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They got
you know.
three. So, but the thing of the matter is with Beyonce, like she would have so much money on her own. So to put them together, like that's a real power couple,
But I
right?
don't even understand why I get it, but Beyonce and Jay-Z, yes, they are a power couple, but they each individually had their own wealth. Why even sign a yeah, I mean, okay, no, let me take that back. I'm glad they signed a prenup, but why put it in there for every child I have, I get $5 million, and for each year we're married, I get 1 million.
I don't
I
know,
mean,
but at this point, it's one of those things where Jay-Z has made a tremendous amount of money. Like Beyonce has crazy money, but Jay-Z has crazy money. You know what I'm saying? Like when they first began, Jay-Z has money that I don't think people were accounting for because he was already low key like a millionaire before he
yeah,
even started really getting
right,
popular, right? So you look at Beyonce because of the stage that she was on with Destiny's Child, and you make the assumption that they were making a ton of money when
mhm,
in some of those record contracts back then they weren't. They were making a lot of
right,
money, but they weren't making as much money as people think.
right,
So
yeah.
and Beyonce has been with Jay-Z a long time,
A very long time,
a very
and
long
yeah.
time. Before they got married, they were together for a long time. So I see in the comments she said she doesn't need Jay's money. Yeah, and she doesn't. She does
She
not.
doesn't, but she's
So
getting it, so
it doesn't make
she
sense
had
at
them
this
she
point.
got
But
yeah,
when they got married all those years ago, it might have made business sense back then. So I mean, I don't
yeah.
see either one of them hurting if they go their separate ways. But
They just
from
going
what
their
I've
separate
seen
ways.
that they've been through, I don't think they're going anywhere.
They're yeah,
They've
love
been
yeah,
through the worst of
yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
already. So I mean, the cheating scandals. You know, what
Love
I'm
is
saying
pretty yeah, love is
Jay
pretty
Z
safe
getting
there.
beat up in the elevator.
Yeah,
Like all they've been through all that.
I wonder why they didn't put a cheating clause in their prenup. Maybe it would have been broken day one, so I don't know. But
Maybe because
okay,
they
so
both be cheating.
so you remember, so Chris Rock, right? He had he had a prenup, and his prenup had a loophole. His prenup says that it expires after the 18th anniversary. Now both of them forgot that after the 18th anniversary, the prenup went away. So now they are in court, or I don't know if they're still in court, but there's his wife is seeking a large settlement, but the prenup expired. So Chris is like, I don't owe you anything. But his wife, yeah, she's like, yeah, you do, but our prenup expired.
That's
So
crazy.
isn't that
That's
crazy?
crazy, but legally it's correct. Like if you
Yeah.
sign a contract and this contract has an end date, when that contract end date, that's it.
Mhm.
Like from that point, you're not contractually obligated to do anything else.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
yeah, that's
he can do something out of the kindness of his heart because I'm pretty sure he has a ton of money. So
uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
hey, I mean, it just depends on why they split up. She was acting up, or she got caught out there. Hey, those are the breaks.
That's the break. So yeah. All right. So another thing that I wanted to talk about today was, and I've seen this on the internet, and I recently saw it yesterday, it surfaced again, women asking men to marry them. Now, I saw this post yesterday and I had seen it before, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to talk about this because, but this is what really got me was the in the post that I saw yesterday, the photo is of a pregnant girl on one knee proposing to her man. And in the comments, let me tell you some of the comments that I read. So the comments were ruthless because one comment actually the person actually said, uh get the F up. Like, man, get what are you on your knee for proposing to this guy? And the other one said, she said, this contributes to the emasculation of a black man to me. If he's not moving fast enough according to your plan, so let that man be a man. This ain't it. One other comment said, I feel like if I was to do this, meaning that ask this man to marry her, she feels like that's gonna set the tone for how that relationship is going to be. She said, I feel like if I was to do this, I'd have to do everything else, and that's not my goal. So no, and I'm not having any more kids without being married. So this pick is a double no. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
That lady who said she's not having any more kids without being married. I wonder how many kids she already got. It's just a
I
weird
know. It's just,
thought
yeah,
that
and that
popped in my
maybe
head.
that picture may have sparked something. So I don't know. I just think that society always says that a man should propose to a woman. I don't know if it's biblical. If it is, somebody in the comments let me know. But I just think society always says that a man should propose to a woman. If a woman proposes to a man, it means that she's weak or that man does not had no intentions on marrying her in the first place. So me personally, yeah, hey, if you like chocolate cake, eat chocolate cake. But I'm not about to propose to no man. I'm not doing that. It's just,
Yeah. I think it's just a societal norm. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like it's something that we're used to seeing. So anything outside of that is gonna seem weird. Do I agree with it? No, because I'm a traditional guy. I think
mhm,
that the guy should, I think that's just part of the process, part of the package deal. The guy goes out, buys the ring, and then he does the proposal and everything like that, because my thing is, I put it to you like this, like, it's the least that we can do, what I'm saying, for the woman that will spend the rest of their life with us
right,
and hopefully one day carry our child. So,
right.
we can't carry children. So, that's part of the trade-off. Like, we do that part, you do this part. You know what I'm
But why
saying?
do you have to? Why do you have to propose? Like, can't you just say, hey Molly, hey Tom, let's go get married? Why do you have to propose? Is it just the whole, what do you call it, tradition? Like you
Yeah.
said, is just tradition
It's
behind it?
some people like the presentation of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, to me, we can talk about this as well. I think people have fallen in love with the presentation and forget about the hard work later on.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
they want the proposal, they want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage.
So, so I wonder if a man, how's he feel about a woman proposing to him? Like, would a man accept a proposal from a woman? Because on the picture, the girl is on her knee, right? She's pregnant, she's holding her belly, and she's has her hand up to him, and he's like this, and I'm like, okay, and a lot of people were saying that that was fake. He didn't really want that. So I don't know. How do you feel, like, Ken? What if your wife was to ask you to marry? You got to go back to the point when you guys were dating, so you can't think of
Nah,
it,
like, nah,
on the
get it.
love thing.
I'm not even
Would you
letting it
tell her
happen.
no? Would you
I'm
tell
not
her
even letting
no?
it happen. As soon as she get
How you
down,
gonna
like,
stop her?
you
She
you
might be
tying your
getting down to
shoe,
tie her shoe.
you tying your shoe, because if you doing anything else, go ahead and get on up, because we're gonna do this.
No,
We're gonna do this the right way.
I
And
don't
I
know. I
always
don't believe you would embarrass her like
Mm-mm.
that.
I always tell people, right and wrong is relative to the way you were brought up, to the way you were, to
Mhm.
whatever culture you're from. And the way I was brought up in the culture I'm from says the man proposes to the woman, and that's just the way it's gonna be. Period.
But I wonder why. That's why I've asked people, that are watching, why? Like, why does a man have to propose to a woman? Why? Why? I
I
don't
don't. I,
understand why.
I don't. This is what I'm saying. I don't think people actually know why. I think it's just something that has always been done. You know what I'm saying? The man is the person who makes the first move, and I think For me, if I think back in retrospect to the way things used to be, like in, the earlier days, the guy is the one who was mostly responsible for the family. So if you're
Mhm.
responsible for the family, you're the head of the household, and you make that decision when it's time to, what I'm saying, reach out and say, you know what, I'm ready to make you my wife.
See, that could see again, I could reach back to the prenup. That's the goes back to the prenup thing because you kind of mentioned like, a man is supposed to do this and a man is supposed to be that. But what if a woman is the one who she's making all the money and she's paying all the bills for whatever reason, and this guy is a struggling musician
I
and
think that's different though. I think that's different. Like if she has the money, if she has the assets, whoever has the assets, you just have to be willing to accept that if you're the person who doesn't have the assets or
No,
who
but
doesn't.
no, but I'm saying if she proposes to the guy, she has the money, and is it because is he gonna say yes because he doesn't want to lose his his goose who's laying these golden eggs or
That's a
what?
fact.
You know
Yeah,
what I
if
mean?
I'm
So
broke, baby, yes. Now get on up. Let me get this ring up off of you, but get on up.
oh my
But
goodness.
I do accept. But get on up off this ground. Let me get that ring
Yeah.
up off of
See,
you.
it's like,
You
I
know.
don't know. Is double standard, double-edged sword? I mean, I don't know. But, you know, just to move on from the topic, me personally, it has nothing to do with tradition. I don't think it has anything to do with values. Maybe it has to do with I don't even think it has anything to do with vanity. I'm just never going to, well, I'm not now because I'm happily married. But even if it was like one of my family members and they came to me and asked me, hey, I think I'm going to propose to John. I'm like, no, why? Why? Has he given you any indication that he wants you to do that? That he wants to be married? So I don't know. So what I'm going to tell you, ladies, is though, don't propose to that man.
I ain't gonna tell you
That's
ladies that,
me.
but ladies that I know personally, you bet not. You bet not, because if you do and I find out,
No,
we gonna
no,
have a
you just
talk.
said you just said you're not going to tell him that. That sounds like you told him that.
No, I'm
So
not gonna tell
I
all ladies, but the ladies I know personally, I'm gonna have something to say to you. Believe that.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So when someone hurts you or wrongs you, it's a natural reaction to be angry and hold a grudge. Now, but how long is too long to hold a grudge when somebody wrongs you, whether it's your best friend, your family, someone at work? Because let me tell you this, let me be honest with you. I think I'm glad that I have the personality and the disposition that I have because I can hold a grudge
Oh
for a
yeah,
very, very long time. And
I
I'm glad
believe
that
that.
I but I'm glad that I have not had to do that much, at all. And
Mm.
and let me tell you this really quick story. So when I was in high school, um, me and this girl liked the same guy, and I felt like because I was a cheerleader, be quiet, because I was a cheerleader and I ran track, and she did none of that. I should be the one to have him. And instead he went with her. And so I was upset. I was angry all through, just all through school. And sometimes I even forgot about it. And me forgetting about it came up one day when I was in the grocery store. One or two times that I've ever gone to the grocery store in my life. So was at the grocery store and and I saw her down the aisle, and I was like, "Hey, girl!" And then, we're talking. I get in the car. I realize I don't even like her. You know what? I'm supposed to be mad at her, but I
What?
forgot.
For something that
I
happened in
forgot.
high school?
Exactly. I was still holding on to that grudge. But sometimes, a grudge it can stop you from living right. It can stop you from moving forward in your life. It didn't stop me, but I still held on to that grudge because I'm the girl that dude should have had. That's me. I don't even remember his name right now.
And see, look at you. You don't even remember the dude's name,
I
but you
don't
knew he
remember
was
it.
supposed
I
to
don't
be with
remember
you.
his name.
You would have
But when
messed
I
that
saw
whole man
her,
life up.
I know I probably would have. It's like my husband said. He's the one that should be with me. So
he and see, here's the thing.
Only he can
You felt
handle
you
me.
felt you felt obligated because you thought you were on a higher level because of your achievements. But
I did.
obviously,
I
she
did.
had
She was
something
nothing.
that
She
he
was
liked.
nothing. Well, he whatever that was, he wasn't getting that. That not at that
Yeah,
time.
that's what I'm saying. She
But
might have had them yams, and he was like, "But I'm going over here with the yams." And you know what I'm saying? You can be cute over there, but I'm good over here. So you
oh, okay.
don't
So okay.
know.
All right. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. It's not about me. It's just in general to you and
Hmm.
to our audience. Um, if you're dating someone and y'all break up, and that guy or that girl you're dating starts dating your best friend, should you hold a grudge?
I wouldn't hold a grudge against a girl. I would hold a grudge against my best friend. Definitely.
Why? Okay, and this has always been a question I've asked a lot of times because why? Is it what part of it makes a person mad that they're with that best friend?
I
Because
don't
they're
care
the
if
best
you,
friend? Because
yeah.
they know what you're like in bed, and
Well,
you know?
it's not even that. To me, it's about, who your allegiance lies with, right? Like that girlfriend until she becomes your wife, like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's a friend, right? And she might
Mhm.
be a really good friend, but that's a different bond than your best friend, right? Your best friend's supposed to have
Right.
your back, and this is the person that's supposed to, really be rocking with you. And for him, you know what I'm saying, the allegiance is different, right? This is my guy. So he shouldn't be, what I'm saying, plotting to get with the girl that I was just with. Now, if he
But let
comes
me
to
make
me,
okay, go ahead. Okay.
if he comes to me and he says, "Hey, she hit me up. I know y'all not dating no more. Is it okay if I kick it with her?" Then that's a
You
different
want
conversation.
you want him to ask. Okay, wait, okay.
I think you
You
owe it man to man. I think you owe, especially your best friend or somebody that's close to you, or even a relative or something, a cousin. Like, you owe it to that man to have that conversation with him.
So, okay, so if the guy does not do that, if your best friend does not do that and he starts dating your ex, how long do you stay mad at him? How long you gonna hold
Oh,
that grudge?
he
And
he he out
why?
of there.
Like what's the benefit?
She out of there. He out of there too. It's a fact.
Yeah, okay, and I get that. I get that they're out of there. You're not gonna be with them anymore. But how long? Like if you saw them in the grocery store, like I saw this girl, would you speak?
Yeah, yeah. I speak and keep it moving. I'll be like, "What's up, y'all?" and keep it moving. Like, it wouldn't be on no, give him some dap and do all this, do a hug and all that stuff. Nah, it'd be just, "All right, y'all, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. Like, I'm never
Mm.
gonna be. I pride myself in saying this all the time, but any girlfriend that I ever had in the past, I had, a few. I've never
Close.
ended on a negative term with them, like on bad terms. Like, if I see them to this day, there's no ill will, there's no bad blood, and I pride myself on that.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's different. We are talking about grudges. We don't want to talk to the people you nice to right now. We want to talk grudges, Big Ken. We're talking grudges, okay? You're like me. We probably don't have many. We probably don't have grudges right now, but there is somebody watching that does, and they have a grudge with someone. And I know that holding a grudge when you especially when you're aware of like me, I wasn't even aware. I have totally I mean it happened a long time ago and I totally forgot about it so much so that I talked to the girl in the grocery aisle for the longest time because all I remember was that we went to high school together, and I totally forgot about
then your petty
everything.
gene kicked in. Your petty gene kicked
Yeah,
in.
yeah, I was yeah, exactly. It's oh yeah, and I was back then. I was petty. I was because I was cute, so
See, I didn't
everything.
even know you back then, and how I know you was petty.
I was so petty. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's another topic.
You just got petty written all over you, so I already
I
knew.
know, I know. It's on the back of my shirt. But so um if you hold a grudge with someone, it totally can be really really unhealthy, especially if you are aware of that grudge, and when you think about it, it makes you mad, it gives you a headache, you think ill will of that person, you want something to happen to that person. Holding a grudge, that it can be very very stressful, but at some point, for your health and sanity, you're going to have to let it go. So
Yeah,
it's
like
like,
I
how
always
long
say,
do you
leave
hold
it.
on to it?
That's like letting somebody live rent free in your head. Like they
Yeah,
just
exactly. And
constantly there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they
in that
interrupting your
space.
life, and your positive energy every time you see them. That take too much energy to be worried about that type of stuff. Like I said, and the only caveat I have to any of this is I would only hold a grudge against somebody that did something to my child or any of my children.
Right.
That's different. But for me personally, like I would never hold a grudge against anybody. And there's some people out there that I should have some grudges against, believe me.
But
And and I
let me
don't.
let me say this, and I talk about this a lot. I've spoke about it at about this at a lot of events. Now, I was in an abusive relationship for 12 years, and that person, um, I hold a grudge against. And I
Mhm.
and it's been years. I've been married now for what, 16 years. And so it was years before that. But the fact of what that person did to me, a person that didn't even I don't think anyone deserves to, for a man to beat on her like that. But let me tell you something. I hold a grudge, and
You
it's been
should.
years, and
You
and I
should.
have and that grudge shows no signs of being getting softening up. But let me tell you this: it doesn't affect my life. It doesn't have anything to do with my life. I don't stress about it. But when I see people being mean to people, or when I see a movie or a man, like when I watch the Tina Turner movie, it's just that I don't, why are people so mean like that? So, well, I know we're talking about grudges, but let me tell you this, and I'm not trying, and I don't want to be that example for anyone that's holding a grudge, because I hold a grudge against this man, and I don't show any signs of letting it go. And I should, but the thing about it is that it doesn't affect my life. It doesn't interfere with my life. My life has gone on. I have a great life. I'm financially good. I'm mentally good. I'm physically good. It's just that him, and I know that there are some people watching that are really into religion, but it is one of those situations where, yes, I hold a grudge and I'm still holding on to it. And I'm never going to let it go. And two, I have never forgiven him for what he did. So that's why holding a grudge to me is important, to know how long do you do that. And I is what let me tell you, Big Ken, if he was on fire, ooh, he would just burn.
I
That's a grudge.
mean, that's a legit reason.
No,
Like
you know what I mean?
there are things that happen in life, and it's easy for people who haven't experienced these things to say you should forgive people or you should not hold grudges. But I'm one to say, if you haven't been through that situation, if you haven't experienced yourself, it's
Mhm.
easy to say something from the outside looking in, but when you've been a part of an abusive relationship, or you had something happen to a loved one and somebody did something to them, like even if I knew the person that did that to you, like I would look at him a totally different way too, and I probably wouldn't be able to forgive him
Right.
either if I knew him, just because of what he did. So there are certain things that you can forgive, what I'm saying, for religious purposes and things of that nature, but you'll never forget.
That's right. And let me say this. I think that if you are upset at someone, if you are holding a grudge, don't let it interfere with your life. Don't let it interfere with your personal life, your work, your family, or anything like that. I think that holding a grudge this may sound crazy, but holding a grudge is okay, as long as you do not, in my opinion, as long as you do not let it interfere with your being, with who you are. It's like, okay, you know what, that person did whatever they did to me, and you move on from it. One of the things that one of my best friends, we actually had a conversation on Saturday, and I was really open and honest with her about some of the things that I was uneasy about. But having that positive, it wasn't a grudge, it was just, I was feeling sort of indifferent about some things.
Yeah.
But we talked on the phone, and we talked for a long time, and we laughed and we cried and we got through it, but it did not break up our love for one another. So the thing is that there are some grudges that you got to talk your way through,
Oh yeah.
because she means a lot to me. And so that's not somebody that I ever want to break up our best friend. It's been almost 30 years. And we're able to talk. So my thing is that if if there's a grudge or some type of discontent with the person that you really love, talk to them. Don't let that grudge fester into hate, or anyway, you just have that conversation. So
Yeah, no, the best beef is served on a plate because I don't want no part of no beef, no
yeah,
grudge. I was just thinking about this too. I had a conversation with a couple people in the past few days. We had a loved one that passed away, and anytime you have somebody that passes away, you think about your interactions with them. And luckily for me, like my interactions with this relative were amazing. Like we never had issues. Like I loved him, you know what I'm saying, and I know I did
yeah,
right by him and he did right by me. Everything was cool. But those situations where you have grudges with your family members, relatives, or friends, and then something happens to them, like you
yeah.
can't ever correct that. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So the
yes,
best
yeah,
thing to
it's
do is,
final.
like you're saying, like have a conversation with them. You might not ever agree or get on the same page, but the conversation needs to be, had at least if it can be, so you can
Mhm.
try to, squash the beef.
Yeah, and it's like you said previously, you would say, "Hey, hello," or whatever. It doesn't mean you gotta hang out with that person, but
Mm-mm.
it's more along the lines of like, "Hey, I acknowledge you, whatever. I'm past that, but I don't gotta hang out with you. I don't have to go to dinner with
Yeah.
you. I don't have to do none of that. But
If I
whatever
see
happened
them in the
between us,
grocery store,
yeah."
I definitely speak. I might put a couple of extra items in their basket that they didn't know I put in there, or something like
But
that.
hey,
Be a little petty, but I ain't gonna hate them. I don't
but
hate
yeah,
them.
you moved on from it.
Yeah, check this out though.
All right.
I
Well,
had I had to find
what's
this.
that?
I don't hold grudges. I hold memories that keep me better prepared for our next encounter. So it's not really a grudge.
I like that. Yeah, it's not really a grudge, but I'm not gonna forget the next time I see you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, I think that if you are in a space where you can let that grudge go and just be healthy, do that and move on. Because let me tell you, and I know Big Ken will agree that life is way, 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 way too short to hold on to a grudge that interferes with your everyday life. So
that's a fact.
yeah, just move on from that. Yeah, yeah. So I have really enjoyed the show. I don't get to talk this much on the show, and so my throat's hurting. Just kidding, just kidding.
Okay.
But hey, you know what? I keep my cough dry, huh? Yeah. You know me, Big Ken. I just love life and cough drops. So
NT.
hey. I had a good time.
I had a
Indeed,
good time
I
as
had a
well.
good time today. I yeah, I enjoyed our topics, and I'm glad that we have the type of show. Yes, I do have a cough drop in my mouth. Sorry. I'm glad that we have the type of show that we open up and we allow our viewers to come in and kind of see and talk with us, with our guests as well. It's kind of cool. It's a cool thing,
Yeah, so they can see
being
we're
on this
human too.
platform.
We are humans as well.
Exactly. We are human, and I think that today they got to see a little bit of the human side. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, remember you can catch KUTC live right here on Facebook every Wednesday at 7. And if you missed the show, visit blacklineentertainment.com. And you know that every week I give a quote, a positive quote. And since we're talking about relationships, how about this one? Your relationship doesn't need to make sense to anyone except you and your partner. It's a relationship, not a community project.
Unless
Until
you
next
have multiple
time.
people in your relationship, then it is a community project.
I was ending the show. Until next time.
Make sure you all keep up the conversation. Peace.
Peace.